Episode Heresy brought a ton of new weapons, some good, some bad. So in this video, I'm going to go over the 10 weapons you need to get from Episode Heresy. I'm Marshix, and I need you to like the video. Also, this video has opinions, so if those scare you, I don't care. Coming up first is Lotus Eater. This is the first Void rocket sidearm, and it gets a few spicy rolls, including destabilizing rounds to make everything you shoot volatile for extra damage and explosions, and repulsor brace for overshields each time you kill one of those volatile targets. This is great for ad clear, it keeps you alive with overshields, and all the Void effects can build upon our Void subclasses to make some crazy builds. If you don't like the Void roll though, you could also go with Reconstruction to reload itself over time up to double capacity, which allows us to hold up to 40 shots at a time, way more than any other rocket sidearm. It also gets one for all for a very easy to activate 30% damage buff just by shooting 3 different things. So you can just get the buff with 3 shots and then dump all your ammo. Or you can mix and match these rolls by using Reconstruction with Destabilizing. This roll will basically never have to reload, and you still get all the explosions for ad clear and the Void debuffs for your subclass. This also gets all of these perks, but nothing else really speaks to me. The way you get this weapon is by running Nightfalls whenever it's the weekly Nightfall weapon. And right now, the normal versions of this weapon are currently bugged, giving one additional perk in the third column, which allows us to easily get super god rolls like this. If you're able to farm GMs to get the Adept version, that's cool, but the normal version is just as good and way easier to get. This is the best strand SMG in the game. Mirror Imago is the new seasonal SMG with subsistence to reload itself after kills, allowing us to shoot for a very long time before we have to reload. And it also gets Hatchling to create Threadlings with kills. Hatchling is great for killing small enemies, and if you build into them, especially this season, they can wreak havoc on everything you encounter. It also gets things like Target Lock or Sword Logic if you prefer a damage buff instead of Hatchling, and it gets 2 potential origin traits that are both really strong. Willing Vessel will increase your stability, handling, and reload speed just by dealing damage, so these stats will be present most of the time. Or if you're lucky enough to get a shiny variant of this SMG, it can also drop with Runneth Over as an origin trait, allowing you to overfill the magazine whenever you reload near teammates, which is another reason why you won't have to reload a lot. And since this is a seasonal weapon, it can currently use the Power of Ambition mod to give it Blight rounds. This will make enemies take damage over time, it will stun overload champions, and your weapon will always be overcharged. This is just free damage on top of your normal SMG damage, and it lasts for a very long time. So long in fact, that it can stun one overload champion twice with 1 instance of Blight. Nothing else in the game is able to do that, and this does with no setup at all. And since this deals damage over time, it will build up stacks of Bolt Charge really fast on Arc Titan, making this an incredible option for spamming lightning strikes. This has a lot going for it, especially this season, so definitely pick this up if you haven't already. This drops from the Court of Blades activity, or through the Tome of One, and it has an Adept version that drops from Expert Court of Blades. And all of the drops of this weapon have a very small chance to drop as a shiny variant, meaning it has double perks and the additional origin trait. YouTube made a really stupid change to the ad system, so now if I want any ads on my video, I have to put them in uninterruptive spots, meaning I need to add awkward pauses in my videos if I want to afford rent. So to avoid being interruptive, I'm going to... This next weapon has dominated the Crucible for the past 2 months, and it's also really good in PvE too. Redrix's S-Stock is a stasis version of the battle rifle. You are given this guaranteed after playing 7 matches in the competitive playlist, whether you win or lose. And if the game bugs out and doesn't give it to you when you do that, Shax will have it in his inventory waiting for you. The first one you get will always have Lone Wolf and Sword Logic, which isn't perfect, but it's really great in Crucible, at least for a few more days until it gets nerfed. But if you continue doing the challenges for comp every week, you can continue to get random rolls, allowing you to get really good PvE rolls too. Most notably Headstone to create stasis crystals with kills, and Rhyme Stealer to give you frost armor each time you break a stasis crystal. This perk combination is amazing, especially for mono stasis builds where you're able to freeze everything and maintain frost armor indefinitely. It can also get Demolitionist for more grenade energy, which is incredible for Bleakwatcher builds on Warlock. Or if for some reason you enjoy PvP in this game, it can also get things like Zen Moment, Headseeker, and Kill Clip, all of which are going to be very sought after once Lone Wolf gets nerfed. Up next is my new favorite special weapon. Psychopomp is the one and only Arc Area Denial Grenade Launcher. This will create pulls of electricity that deal damage over time to everything inside. This is great for spawn killing adds, blocking doorways, and it's a way to deal a little bit extra damage in the background during boss fights. Now, there are only really 2 perks you want on this thing. Ambitious Assassin, so you can hold 2 grenades instead of 1, and Rolling Storm to give you stacks of bolt charge with every kill. And because this weapon deals damage over time, it will build up stacks of bolt charge a lot faster than other weapons, allowing you to call down lightning a lot more often. Similar to Mirror Imago, this has a very rare shiny variant that can get the Runneth Over Origin trait, which will give you another grenade if you reload near teammates, which on this is basically double the mag size most of the time. And it does stack with Ambitious Assassin to hold either 3 or 4 shots at a time, which is absolutely crazy for a grenade launcher. This drops from the Nether activity, or by focusing for it in the Tome of One. Or if you want the Adept version, it will drop from the Expert version of Nether. And any drop can be shiny, you just have to get lucky. You guys know how much I hate PvP in this game, but I actually played Trials a few weeks ago because this hand cannon is incredibly powerful in PvE. Exalted Truth is a 140 RPM hand cannon that gets the best Void perk combo. The stabilizing rounds will make enemies volatile, and give this volatile rounds to spread debuffs and make everything explode, and Demoralize will also spread weakened debuffs, making enemies take more damage from all sources. So you can create tons of volatile explosions for easy ad clear, and anything that doesn't die to the explosions will become weakened, so you can quickly finish them off with another weapon. Not to mention, all the volatile explosions will trigger some of the strongest effects in both our Void and Prismatic subclasses, including Stylish Executioner to turn invisible with every kill, and Feed the Void to gain Devour with every kill since the game sees these explosions as ability kills. It also gets a few other good perks like Withering Gaze, Repulsor Brace, and One For All, but I don't see myself putting down the role that I already have. Like I said before, this drops from Trials of Osiris, so good luck, and remember, if you lose all your matches, the only common denominator is you. So get good! Another great destabilizing weapon is Anamnesis. This is the seasonal bow that gets destabilizing rounds alongside either Archer's Tempo for faster draw time, Repulsor Brace for overshields with basically every kill, or my favorite, Dragonfly to make enemies explode with precision kills. So you can shoot something to make them explode, everything around it will become volatile, then you can kill those enemies to get double explosions. This is one of the best bows for ad clear, and unlike most of the other good bows, this is legendary, so you can run this alongside an exotic. It also has a really good origin trait called Willing Vessel. This will increase its draw time as you deal damage, so unlike other bows, you don't need Archer's Tempo for this to shoot fast. It's definitely not on the same level as the Monarch, but it's still really powerful for a legendary weapon. And it has all the Void synergies mentioned before, so some builds can crank this up to 11. This is another seasonal weapon, and it came from Act 2, meaning it drops from the Tome of Want and Court of Blades. And the Adept version comes from Expert Court of Blades. And yes, it can be shiny to get double perks. This is the best arc sidearm that takes primary ammo. Division is a 2-round burst sidearm that gets Volt Shot to apply Jolt by reloading after a kill, and Eddy Current to reload faster while you're amplified. Which you will be when using this weapon because you're getting so many arc kills. You want to reload often to jolt things constantly, so having Eddy Current will speed that up. There's not much more to say, it's just a solid primary weapon that can create a lot of chain lightning. Also, it is a seasonal weapon, so it can get the Power of Ambition mod to poison enemies with sustained damage, taking this from a 9 out of 10 sidearm to a 10 out of 10. The way you get this weapon is the exact same as the bow. Court of Blades or Tome of One, or if you want the Adept version, it only drops from Expert Court of Blades. I know I hated on Barrow Dyad in the past, but it recently became way better. This is a strand SMG that has 2 forms depending on the path you choose in the seasonal story. This weapon will build up charge as you deal damage, while on the path of Resolve, hitting 3 separate targets will give you a big chunk of energy. Then you can reload to get up to 6 tracking shots that pierce through enemies. And while you're on the path of Ambition, sustained damage on 1 target will give you a big chunk of energy. And you can then reload to get up to 6 tracking shots that burrow into your target and explode. So obviously, Path of Ambition is way better and easier to use, so you should never use the other path. This deals a lot more damage than most other primary weapons, and it has 4 catalysts that make it even better. High Impact Reserves will add a little bit more damage, Hatchling will make it create tons of Threadlings, which is great for my Threadling build, link up above. And the other 2 aren't available at the time I'm recording this video, but we will be getting One For All for a big damage buff just by hitting 3 separate enemies, which is going to be really good for the Path of Resolve, and Target Lock for more damage just by staying on 1 target. which is obviously the best for the Path of Ambition. And if you want to boost the damage even more, you can pair this with Peacekeepers to output some insane damage from an SMG. And since it's Strand, it can take advantage of all the Strand artifact mods for a lot more effects too. Now, it would take me 10 minutes to explain how to get this, so instead, I'll link Fallout's guide in the description for you to watch after this video. Let him know I sent you. This machine gun is insane. Corrective Measure is a void machine gun that gets only good perks. Just look at everything it gets. But the combinations to look out for are definitely going to be destabilizing rounds with either Demoralize for double void effects, or Killing Tally for an easy to activate damage buff. Or you can pair Killing Tally with either Redirection for double damage perks, Rewind rounds so you can keep your Killing Tally damage buff for longer, or Demolitionist so you can bypass reloading to keep Killing Tally, and also build up grenade energy fast too. Since this holds so much ammo, you're bound to get a grenade before you run out. All of these perks are really strong in this machine gun, and that alone would make this a must-have, but it gets better. It also has an origin trait called Time Lost Magazine. This will double the magazine size after popping your super, taking this up to 180 rounds in the magazine. So you can fire this thing for a while before you have to reload. And with Actium War Rig on Titan, you actually run out of ammo reserves before you have to reload, allowing you to shoot over 460 shots, which is unheard of on any other machine gun. Now, this drops from the Vault of Glass raid, specifically the 1st, 3rd, and 5th encounters, and it can be crafted if you get 5 red border versions of it. And while this is a raid weapon, you can still farm for this completely solo, but I'll go over that in a minute. This is my favorite rocket launcher, and it's about to become a primary weapon. Hazen Vengeance is a solar rocket launcher with Envious Arsenal and Bait and Switch. Both of these perks will activate by dealing damage with all 3 of your weapons. Bait and Switch will provide a huge damage buff, and Envious Arsenal will automatically reload your weapon, allowing you to constantly swap between all your weapons so you never have to reload, and you'll always have your damage buff. It also has a really strong origin trait, the same as Corrective Measure. This will double the magazine size for 20 seconds after you pop your super. So this will hold up to 2 rockets at a time, and during that 20 seconds, Envious Arsenal will also refill it back to 2. So just pop your Tether, Twilight Arsenal, or Well of Radiance with Sanguine Alchemy, and you can put out a lot of damage with Hazen. Now, what did I mean when I said this is becoming a primary weapon? Well, in just a few days, we're getting the start of Act 3, which means we get a new row of artifact mods, and 3 of them will really benefit rocket launchers. Unstoppable Rocket Launcher to stun champions, Perpetual Destruction to refund ammo if you get kills with your rocket, basically turning this into a primary weapon for ad clear as long as you keep getting kills, and Gold from Lead, which is the opposite of Lead from Gold, so if you do somehow run out of ammo, you just have to pick up special ammo to refill it. All of these mods are going to be very powerful, and they're going to be here for 3 months at least, so they aren't going anywhere for a while. Now, this is also a Vault of Glass weapon, but this time it only drops from the last 2 encounters of the raid. And once again, it is craftable to ensure you get the God roll. Now, like I mentioned before, you can get these raid weapons as a solo player, but you'll have to click on this video to see how. Thanks for watching, I'm Marshix, and I'll see you next time.